I was watching the Goblet of Fire the other day, and it got me thinking and wondering about something. The journey of Harry throughout the Triwizard Tournament. As I imagined how Harry's Triwizard journey may have turned out without the help of Barty Crouch Jr. Was Harry's survival and ultimate winning of the Triwizard Tournament all down to the help given by Crouch, or could he have got through it without him? Let's take this step by step and explore how we think Harry would have succeeded in the Triwizard Tournament without Crouch Jr. being around him. Harry Potter never asked for help with the Triwizard Tournament, and he certainly never asked to be assisted by Death Eater Barty Crouch Jr., discussed as famous author Mad-Eye Moody. In fact, he never actually asked for his name to be entered into the Goblet of Fire in the first place. It's complicated. According to the new rules of the Triwizard Tournament, Dumbledore drew an age line around the Goblet of Fire to prevent anyone under 17 from entering. Harry was as surprised as everyone else when his name came out as a fourth Triwizard champion. Only later did he find out that it was Barty Jr. who put his name at the Goblet of Fire under the name of a different school. But if Harry had really wanted to enter the tournament, could he somehow have figured out a way around Dumbledore's age line? Fred and George Weasley attempted it with an aging potion, and as Hermione predicted, it didn't work. But what about if Hermione had really put her mind to it and helped Harry enter the Triwizard Tournament? Could she have used her famous logic to outsmart even Albus Dumbledore? One hurt might have been Hermione not being all too excited on breaking rules, but then she did brew Polyjuice Potion her second year at Hogwarts, breaking in her words about 15 rules. For the sake of argument, let's say Harry managed to persuade Hermione to help him, and as a Hogwarts champion, he progressed to the first test, so he'll be facing dragons. It was Barty Jr. who made Hagrid into showing Harry the dragons, as well as Barty Jr. who helped Harry see how he could play to his Quidditch strange to succeed in the first test, but we're not entirely sure what difference Barty Jr. help actually made on this particular test. Hagrid was never a brilliant keeper of secrets. In Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, his catchphrase could have been,
"I should not have said that. I shouldn't have said that."
And given how much Hagrid cared about Harry, I think he would have been likely to show Harry the dragons anyway. Even if Hagrid hadn't, we're not entirely sure it was helpful for Harry. To have seen the Hungarian Horton up close, probably it made him even more nervous just before he was about to begin the first test. We should also add to our consideration the fact that Harry wasn't as unfamiliar with dragons as some of other Triwizard champions may have been. He would unwillingly come far too close to a dragon Hagrid affectionately named Norbert in Harry's first year. Perhaps this familiarity might have helped him in the first test, even without the dragon warning. Then there is the small matter of getting past the dragon and retrieving the golden egg. Would Harry have been prepared to do this without Barty Jr. hints about using a broom? It's worth remembering that it was actually Harry who worked out that he would need a summoning charm, and then it was Hermione who helped Harry to learn how to summon his broom from a great distance. They had a warning from Hagrid about the dragons, so we think Harry and Hermione may have worked things out on their way. Now moving on to the second test. Barty Jr. told Harry that it was he who taught Cedric Diggory to open the golden egg underwater, and then trusted that Cedric would pass the information on to Harry in repayment for the dragons. But it was actually Harry who made the decision to tell Cedric about the dragons himself, so that all the champions were on equal footing for the first test. Also, Barty Jr. may have pointed Cedric in the right direction with the egg, but Cedric was a clever and resourceful student, as well as kind. He may very well have worked it out on his own and shared the information with Harry anyway. Barty Jr. also gave the book Magical Water Plants to Neville Longbottom. When Harry didn't ask Neville for help, Moody then staged a conversation with Professor McGonagall about Gillyweed in front of Dobby, who ran straight to Snape's store to get a mouthful for Harry in time for the second test. Neville was great at herbology and might well have known about Gillyweed even without the book. Perhaps at the 11th hour, Harry might have sought him out, and no doubt Neville would have helped him anyway. Then there is the matter of second test itself. Barty Jr. might have helped with the Gillyweed, but he didn't help down in the lake. Professor Lupin taught Harry about Gringotts. They were in the Defense Against the Dark Arts exam in the third year. Harry managed to fight them off in the second test, where Fleur failed. It was also Harry's Gryffindor courage and loyalties that got him the extra point from the second test, saving both Ron and Fleur's little sister. On the third and final test, getting into the maze, you had an easier time of it than you should have done in the maze tonight. Of course, that was because it was patrolling around it, able to see through the outer heat, able to curse many obstacles out of your way. I stand Fleur Delacour as she passed. I put the Imperious Curse on Crom so that he would finish Diggory and leave her path to the Cap clear. Being honest, Barty Jr. might have had a huge sense of his own importance here. Harry's defense against the dark art lesson with Lupin the previous year were hugely useful to him in the maze. He cast a Patronus and then saw off a Bogarts in quick succession. Harry was also very naturally talented at defensive magic, as we saw with his duel with Lord Voldemort only moments after he completed the maze. Also, let's not forget that the year after the Triwizard Tournament, Harry actually taught defensive magic to a whole bunch of people known as Dumbledore's army. But I think Harry would have as good a chance of getting to the cup first as Cedric or Crum or Fleur, even without Barty Jr. involvement. We can't deny that it would have been tough for Harry to get through to the third test without Barty Jr.'s help, but we don't think it would have been impossible as long as Harry had help from his friends. One of Harry's greatest qualities was that he knew the importance of friendship and knew that sometimes you just have to ask for a helping hand.